I worry that, like all print media, it's going the way of the dinosaur.
The face of news has changed. Journalism started with newspapers, then the radio broadcasts began, then the television broadcasts, while magazines and weeklies churned out at the same time.
You're basically publishing news content throughout the day.
The internet has changed the face of journalism from just strictly print or TV.
We're not just video reporters anymore. I mean, we're also web and print reporters as well.
Print newspapers have died because of the internet, because of things like Craigslist taking away the classified money. And where else is a newspaper going to survive except online?
Everybody does web versions nowadays. I mean, that's definitely one of the changes over the past decade.
These radical changes has caused dynamism in every market of journalism.
This is probably the future of journalism. Print is dying. If you're going to want to get news, you're going to have to pay for it, and it's probably going to move online.
Journalism is moving quickly to the web. In Hawaii, the forerunner is Honolulu Civil Beat.
Pierre Omidyar, the founder of eBay, along with Randy Ching, one of his former eBay colleagues, decided to launch Civil Beat, an online news service. There was a sense that maybe the community wasn't being served enough, that there was room for other voices. Since then, there's been some other changes in the local media landscape. A month after we launched, and I guess this would have been June 2010, the Honolulu Advertiser was purchased by the Honolulu Star Bulletin. They merged them into what's known as the Honolulu Star Advertiser. So a two-newspaper town, since the 19th century, suddenly is without two voices.
Nearly 290 jobs were lost with this merger.
Arguably, two decent newspapers were combined into one that's not quite as good as either.
This was met with much public distrust. Although there has been a burst in alternative journalistic sources, there has also been a decline in traditional sources.
The Honolulu Weekly has been a great treasure here and has offered some deep investigative journalism, but I fear that it's, I think they'll, by their own admission, will admit that their advertising has gone down.
Mergers on the grand scale didn't just happen with print journalism. TV news has felt the pressure too.
It's not just about presenting the news starting at 5 o'clock.
In 2009, Raycom Media bought out MCG Capital Corp and merged KHNL, K5, and KGMB into Hawaii News Now. This resulted in 48 layoffs.
It comes down to money. Economically, it makes sense for a TV station to have more newscasts. 7 years ago, there was only an hour and a half of news produced a day. That was it. And now we have 7.5 hours. You're putting more news on, many more hours of the day, and that's changed a lot of things as well, to where a reporter has to turn something every single day.
It's a vicious circle. The reporters feel the need for constant turnover, and the audience craves it.
I think it is the audience. They crave constant new news. They don't see what they want, they're going to go somewhere else to see it. And
we expect instantaneous news these days.
I don't think the majority of the public really understands the nature of the news. I mean, what it really takes just to put on a 30-minute newscast. I mean, there is a ton of people, effort, and brain power that goes into putting on that newscast.
This has dramatically changed the role of the journalist.
Another big change is that because you have to turn something every day, it's gotten away from the beat, a beat reporter, where a reporter basically only had one subject that they covered all the time. You pretty much have to do anything, anytime, any day.
Reporters are being written into corners from not just their audiences.
It's not necessarily reporters and producers and things, but it is management and ownership.
In addition, reporters have less time to work on stories.
Whereas back in the old days, a reporter can sit on something and really investigate something for a few days, a month. You certainly have less time to put together a story and to work on it.
Despite all these changes, journalism still holds its heart.
I don't think we've ever lived in quite so dynamic of an age, in this media information age, where we don't know where things are going to turn out.
I think a lot of us would certainly love to do that. I mean, we'd love to take several days and really work on a story.
I'm hoping that there will always be the desire for news, for good coverage of government.
And that is any citizen's hope.